Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I want to be giving my thoughts on Tenchi Muyo GXP Paradise Starting Episode 1. Before I talk about the actual episode and stuff, I'm just going to say I'm not going to be putting any screen caps from the episodes in this video like I usually do. My OVA 5 videos were just a pain with dealing with copyright claims and stuff. I had to re-upload half of them. So I'm not dealing with that here. So I'm just going to put either the Blu-ray cover for this episode, or I'll even just put the thumbnail that I'm using for this video here. So apologies for that. I just don't feel like dealing with that. Alright, GXP, Paradise Starting, what is it? This is a sequel to the GXP novels, and it takes place after the novels have concluded, but the final novels haven't actually been published yet. So I think there's 17 GXP novels right now. The first 14 adapt the anime, but obviously expand it a lot because it's 14 novels compared to 26 episodes. And then volumes 16, 15, 16, 17 are the Renza arc. And so if you watch the GXP anime, at the end, Seina is kidnapped by the four assistants of Seto, who are actually from another planet, and they need his help saving their planet from pirates or something. It's been a while, so I don't exactly remember, but and their planet is Renza. So the Renza arc is happening now in the novels, even though there hasn't been a novel in 4 or 5 years or something, and this anime takes place after that. So I have not read any of the GXP novels. I know there's some machine translations available, but I haven't bothered with those. Maybe someday I'll get to them, but I haven't read them. So unlike with OVA 4 and OVA 5, where they were a bit informed by War on Geminar and GXP, and I can sort of piece things, and Paradise War, I could piece things together because I know a little bit here and there. I did feel like I was struggling just a little bit more in this episode than I was in either OVA 4 and OVA 5, because I have not much knowledge about those novels. So actual anime episode this time. Now, it starts with Seina returning to Earth after the Renza arc. So whatever happens on Renza, it's been solved, and Seina is coming home, but he's leaving behind basically all of his harem members from the anime to deal with it. And so he's coming back to Earth with Jovia, and basically all the characters that are reincarnations, or I don't know how they work in exactly, but basically characters from Dual Parallel Trouble Adventure. So Mitsuki Sanada is there, D is there, and then I think Fuku is supposed to be Yayoi, and then I assume that there was a green-haired girl on the ship. I assume she's supposed to be the other Mitsuki Rara. They're there. They're barely in the show. Jovia gets a few seconds here and there, but everybody else barely shows up. So we get to Earth, and we get a little explanation. Well, first of all, Seina shows up at Tenchi's, does his greetings, and Kai is there, Kiriko's younger brother, and he informs Seina that he is engaged to Seina's sister, whose name I don't remember. Sorry about that. Which this all makes sense because, well, first of all, a lot of time has passed. Seina's an adult now, and so is his friend. But at the end of the GXP anime, Kai and Seina's sister were dating, right? So they're engaged, and we get a lot of this episode is explaining what is happening with Seina's family store. So basically, Kai is marrying into the Yamada family, and then Seina got married to Kiriko, so he's marrying into the Masaki family. And so Kai's going to live at the store, and there's this big plan to expand it into a big supermarket. And then Seina's going to go live at Kiriko's house. And so we get it's broken up a bit. So we get a little talk of the supermarket here at Tenchi's, with Kai explaining all right, we're expanding the supermarket. Your house is just being placed on top. Washu teleported it there. Okay, so we get an explanation of that, and then we go on to retreading War on Geminar stuff. So basically, Seina's now here, back on Earth, and they're explaining what's going on with Kenshi and Rhea. Then we don't spend a lot of time on this, but it does feel a bit annoying because OVA 4 and OVA 5 focused on this already. We've done this before. So they tell Seina about it, say that they'll ask him for help training Kenshi, so when they send him away, it'll be good. And that's that. And then he heads off to Kiriko's home, where he now lives. We see him sort of walking through Misaki Village, going back home. He talks about how, like, there's nobody here. And it seems like, I forget what Tsukiko says, but, like, they're all in town. And they've been helping out with the Yamada supermarket, helping build it and stuff. So, Tsukiko, this is a character that's not from the anime. She is exclusively in the novels. She is Kiriko's mother. And she, like every woman in this series, is in love with Seina. I don't know how Seina became, like, the go-to protagonist of the Tenchi Muyo series, but he has, like, 15 harem members at this point. So we get to Kiriko's house, and we meet Tsukiko, and then we get just, like, dinner and more explanation of what's going on with the Yamada store. And, alright, I want to see if I understand it. So, Seina became a GP member and stopped a bunch of pirates, and then went to Renza and solved whatever their problem was. I have no idea what it was. Because of this, space is incredibly safe. Seina has done a great job, and space is really safe, so people that were sending things, transporting things, they no longer need to spend as much money on protection from pirates, because pirates are pretty much wiped out from Seina. So now they have extra cash, which they're using to invest in developing planets, I guess. And so, alright, this is the part that I'm just trying to piece together. The Yamada store is basically being used to possibly funnel money to Earth. So, I think the idea is the people that now have this extra money that they want to invest in, like, helping build planets and stuff, or, like, investing money into planets, will start wanting to invest in Earth because Seina is here. And he basically is responsible for all this, so they're going to want to put money into Earth. So the money will come into Misaki Village. They will then spend it at the Yamada supermarket, which will then spread out to Earth, I think is what's happening here. At least that's my understanding of it. So the Yamada supermarket, very important, and is going to be used to, like, bring a lot of wealth to Earth. And they talk about how there's going to, like, I think Tsukiko says, like, with all this, there's going to be a great economic boom in the future. It's like, okay, that's great. So Earth is going to be, like, they always talk about it, like, Earth is, like, a part of Jirai, or is, like, under Jirai's control. But it's underdeveloped, and we keep talking about that. That's why they can't. That's why all the Misakis are sort of hidden away. They don't want Earth to really know that they exist. I'm saying a lot. This is... it's a bit... I'm a bit confused, but I think I've got it. Money's coming from space into Earth. Earth is going to prosper in the future. That's it. I'm done talking about the supermarket. We get a bit more talk about the Misaki Village and how they are planning to isolate themselves even further. Like, they were already kind of isolated from everybody, but had roads open and stuff so people could pass through so as not to, like, arouse too much suspicion. But they're also going to use the Yamada supermarket to sort of, like, have, not really a purpose, but, like, have a cover, like, for why they exist in case people start questioning them. So, like, Tenchi's going to sell carrots at the Yamada store, and so even if they shut off, like, they're planning to shut off the road so people can't get into the village. Even if they shut off that road, like, people will now be like, oh, they're just, like, farmers and stuff. Like, it's no big deal. If you have a village just sort of cut off and nobody knows what it is, people will get suspicious. But now that it's just a farming village that's sort of isolated, people aren't going to be as interested or intrigued, I guess. So that we get... Alright. The Tsukiko stuff is, like, long. Like, she's fine. I don't know why she's into Seina, like everybody. I like Seina. I like the original GXP anime a lot. But more I hear about the novels and how many girls just keep getting thrown into it, it's kind of annoying. I don't like massive harems. Like, I like harem stuff, but I don't like when they get way too big. And I think Seina's, for me, has gotten to a point where it's, like, there's too many girls. Trim it down. But they keep adding more. So Tsukiko and Seina like talk for a little bit. There's some explanation about how magic works, which I hope is relevant at some point in this show, or else it was just a waste of time. Basically, if you're like exposed to magic for a while, you develop a magic organ, which can let you cast magic. And they also throw in a detail about how like Kiriko and Tsukiko like fantasy stuff. I don't know if that was in the original anime, or like I assume it's in the novels, but anyway. So we get some Tsukiko flirting with Seina for a while, and that's basically the bulk of this episode, is just explanations about that stuff. Jovia, we learn, or I learn, this was probably explained somewhere else, probably in the novels, is, I think this is what it is. She's from Earth and died and reincarnated on Renza, and Seina brought her back so she can be back in like Japan, or back on Earth, right? Okay. And then we get an explanation about setting up for Paradise War. How Seina took care of, what is it? I forget. The big like pirate organization. I forget what it's called. But he wiped them out, and other pirate groups that were working under them either went to work under the Balta group, or like have integrated into like as civilians, or in like other places. But there's a few pirate groups that are still sort of doing their thing, and they've decided that they're going to have them fight on Earth to sort of set a hierarchy for these remaining pirate groups. And that's basically what Paradise War is all about, where like pirate groups send a representative into like this game. And so we talk about setting up the island that's going to be in the middle of nowhere, like in the middle of the ocean here on Earth, for them to fight. It's not going to be like a war or a battle. Again, they're going to send like a representative or something to come down and do like, I don't know if it's games. I don't really know a whole lot about Paradise War besides like the main like concept. I do know Seina is in those novels, and he looks exactly like he does here in this anime, but with like sunglasses and a hat on. But yeah, that is the episode. It ends off with them talking about Banjo Island, or Tabletop Island. And that's it. It's exposition. The show. That's what Tenchi has become. It's unfortunate, but it's basically what I expected. This one was a bit more confusing to me because, again, I'm not as familiar with GXP novel stuff as I am with just like War on Geminar or things like that. And it's specifically about GXP stuff that's not in the anime. Because I can kind of piece things together from the anime at times, but like I don't really know what's going on with the Renza stuff much. Animation-wise, I feel like each one of these OVAs, like the animation gets a bit better. It was pretty good in this episode. Again, it's all exposition. We're not going to get like an action scene in this episode. We didn't get an action scene in this episode, but characters were moving, scenes were changing more. People weren't just sitting and talking as much. They would actually move around, like lean in or stand up and move. It was good, and it looked good. I think this is the best looking one of these Tenchi GX. This is the best one of these Tenchi OVAs has looked since they started coming back with OVA 4. And my last little qualm, and it's not a big deal, it's something I'll get used to. Seina's voice actor is just weird. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't sound like him. I get that he's older, and they got this like, oh yes, my growth period kicked in late. It's like, you don't sound anything alike, and I don't believe for a second that this is supposed to be the adult voice of that other voice actor. But that's just like a little nitpicky thing. I think I'll get used to it. But it's just weird, and I'm not quite... I'm not a fan. The voice actor that they actually picked is fine. He does a good job, but it's just weird, and it doesn't feel like the character to me. But yeah, Tenchi Muyo, GXP, Paradise Starting, Episode 1. Oh, stupid long titles. It was alright. I don't know where they're going with the Tsukiko and Seina stuff. Also, I didn't have a note about this, but I'm confused about this, and maybe somebody will be able to fill me in. there's a point when Tsukiko's talking about how Seina's got bad luck powers, right? And it brought misfortune to his family. But the Misaki family sort of treated them well after, like, normal people were like, all right, your kid's, like, cursed. Leave us alone. And they had been planning to marry Seina into the Misaki family for a while, it seems like. The Misaki women got together and did, like, a meeting. And I don't know if, like, maybe it was stated, but the subtitles didn't pick it up, or if this is just me sort of reading into it. Was Tsukiko originally supposed to be, like, married to Seina before he ran off into space? Because that's what it felt like from that little section, and I'm not quite sure if that's right. Also, does Tsukiko not have a husband? I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens in episode 2. I don't know how much of this show is just going to be Paradise War setup. It's neat to have Seina back on Earth and have him, like, he's been gone for a while, right? Like, he sees the village and doesn't know what's happening. So I'm interested to see that. I just hope we're not going to be retreading a bunch of stuff. OVA 4 and OVA 5 already retreaded the training Kenshi stuff to send him off. I hope we don't touch on that too much more. Paradise War stuff we haven't really touched on a whole lot. We had one battle in OVA 5 where the Paradise War protagonist showed up. So I'd be okay with touching on some of that stuff because I'm not very familiar with it. And one day it'd be nice if that got, like, adapted or something. Or if Seven Seas picked that up. You don't want to pick up the GXP novels, I get that, because there's, like, a million of them. But Paradise War is only 3 volumes. That'd be a cool little novel to pick up. But yeah, I'm interested. I don't know. I hope Jovia doesn't get too much screen time, because I'm not a fan of her. I'm interested in Tsukiko, but I'm not sold on her yet. I do want to see the rest of the Duel characters, though, because I do like Duel. And I've heard that, from my understanding, basically what happened is Seina is, like, a reincarnation of the Duel protagonist, and that's why all the Duel girls are here, which is cool. I like Duel a lot. But yeah, Tenchi Muyo, GXP, Paradise Starting, Episode 1. It was alright. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. It was okay. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.